Hey, welcome back. Let's go on an adventure. So today, the weather is starting to clear up a little bit and it's looking relatively calm in this zone that we haven't dove in a very long time, at least the entrance. And we're gonna try to go to a new zone from there we've never dove before. So that's always pretty exciting. I don't know what to expect. We're obviously both pretty tired still, Jake and I, but Megan and I are moving forward well with everything here. It's just a lot, and you know, Murphy's Law. Now my truck isn't working for the first time, so I'm gonna walk there. So let's go on a little walking adventure. We'll get there when we get there. Yeah, that one's not gonna happen either. It's just too murky, it's too rough. There's no easy way to get out. It's just cobblestone, it's super dangerous. And we're just not feeling up for that right now. So we're jonesing for a new spot, so we're gonna keep moving, see what we can find. And we did it. After a few failed missions, we finally found a spot to get in. So I'm gonna go try to catch up with Jake real quick, and found that he already has a taco on his cuy on his first drop again, just like last time.
Nice one.
First drop of the day again. You animal.
Yeah. Dude, it just immediately right there.
All right, that's a good start.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
We're having fun, man.
Thank God.
So we decided we wanted to push it down the coast a bit. So we went for a bit of a swim through the murk until we finally found some clear reef, and it looks super cool in this structure. And then we noticed some moose that were following us around, so I threw my flasher and went down for my first drop of the day. And I'm only in about 25 feet of water, but I just want to get an idea what the reef is looking like today. And I'm not weighted for this depth, so I do have to kind of pin myself to the reef so I don't float back to the surface. And you can see already that there's quite a bit of ta'apes moving around and a bit of life out here, and that big fat moose over it in the right side. And he's trying to sneak around that rock to my right, I think. So I'm just going to wait him out. But in my lack of patience, I look over to see where he went, and he's actually heading away from me. But it might have something to do with that big kaku there, the barracuda. That moose heading away. I don't think he's going to come back. I'm going to try anyway. Flip that flasher over. When I look back, there's actually a second barracuda there. Take one more look around for anything else, but I don't think anything's going to happen on this dive. I'm just going to call that my warm-up, go get some air, and move on. Then on my next drop, Jake was gracious enough to let me borrow his taco as a flasher, because that usually brings the moo in. And we're getting pushed down the coast pretty quickly with this current. So I'm in a different spot, but about the same depth, and I have to hug the coral to pin myself to the reef, and you can see how bad the surge is. So it's pushing me one way, then the other. Try to put my head down and see if that helps. You can see the bands moving on my gun, and I'm trying to keep it in one spot, but it is really difficult. I can feel my fins moving, so I know how much I'm getting pushed across this reef is really not helping the fish catch much interest in me. They're going to keep their distance, and it's costing me a lot of energy and oxygen just to hold myself here because I'm squeezing really hard so I don't get pushed away. And you can see how much that taco is getting thrown around. That's how bad the surge is here. It can be a little bit frustrating. So we're probably going to head them out a little bit deeper, and I'm going to bail on this one. And then on our way out there, we run into this beautiful honu just floating around. So I take a drop down. He doesn't seem to be bothered by me at all. We're just going to hang out and chill. And you have a great day out there, buddy. And then we came across this zone that has some super cool structure and seems to be holding quite a bit of fish. So we're in about the mid-40s now, heading out a little bit farther. And we're escaping this surge, but you can see from the taco that it's still there. But I found a good place to lay down where I can rest my gun between these coral heads and relax a little bit more. Definitely feeling more comfortable here, but after a bit of a hard swim, it is affecting our breath hold. So there are some moves in the background. I can tell that they're not going to come in this time, but I'm getting an idea what the life is like out this way and take a full look around. I don't think anything is going to happen on this dive, so we're going to head them out even farther. And then Jake grabs his 3-prong and comes up with our first fish of the day.
Right as you enter the hole to shoot, a huge dark blue eel shot in the rock behind you.
Right when I shot?
Right before.
John, I was like, oh, they're too far away. This thing shoots so much farther than I think it does.
Yeah.
So I just like had to launch it like into the black. There's so many of them. I didn't
So
even notice it.
It's just accuracy by volume.
So we're in such a heavy Minpachi zone, I decided I want to go try my luck too, but I brought my gun down just in case something bigger rolled through, and I'm going to take a look around first, make sure there's nothing else before I commit to this hole. And while I don't love shooting into caves and rocks and cracks, for a couple big Minpachis it might be worth it, and there's just a wall of them there, there's no way I can miss, so I'm going to line up on them, go for the double up, and pull the trigger. And I end up hooking up on a couple really nice invisible fish. I'm gonna move on. But Jake's a lot smarter than me, so he grabs the right tool for the job and 3-prongs another Minpachi.
Collecting some pachis. At least one of us has collected food today.
And then we decided to punch it out a bit farther into the 60s now, and out here the current's ripping a bit harder, so we do have to be very careful how we spot, and it takes a lot of effort to stay in one spot. But as I settle down here in the bottom, I decided that I am not going to come up without a fish, so the game plan is to focus on invasives. So I'm going to give it a solid try and see if I can get something bigger to come in first, and if I don't, I'm going to start focusing on these ta'apes that are around. So I could probably use some fish karma, do the reef a favor and take some invasives off, and if I get a ton of them, then they're really good at eating and it's a ton of fry fish, and if I end up getting something better later, then I have a couple friends that would love to take these, so I really can't lose here. I'm not really seeing much other than a couple small munus, so now I'm going to turn my attention towards these invasive ta'apes, and none of them are super big. Take one more look behind me, make sure I'm not missing anything, and I'm just going to wait for the right shot here. I already shot into the rocks, but I don't want to do any more damage to the shaft, so I'm going to wait for him to clear that rock, and I capitalize on it. So put a decent enough shot into him, but my kui gets stuck on the reef and pins me down, so I have to turn around and release that, and on my way up, the flopper catches the reef, so I got to pull that off, and then it catches again. So one more release, and now I'm free to head to the surface with my first fish of the day.
I got my invasive.
And then in the time it took me to reload my gun, I got swept so far down the coast I have to hustle hard to get back to Jake. It is brutal out here today.
Oh, this is brutal.
Then after I catch up to Jake, I'm ready for my next dive, and we're still in the 60s here. I find this really good spot to settle into, a good hiding spot. And even though there are gigantic Minpachis over to my right, I'm feeling really good about my invasives right now. So I saw a ta'ape highway from the surface. I'm just going to take one look behind me, make sure I'm not missing anything. Then I'm going to turn my attention back towards these ta'apes because I would love to pick one of these guys off. And there's nothing super big in there, but they're starting to pop back out and show some interest, so I'm just going to wait for the one that gives me the best shot. I don't really care which one it is, just stacking some fish karma and collecting some food, take some invasives off, and this guy looks like he's looking for one, so I give it to him for free. He tries to wrap himself up, but it doesn't work. The shaft release is just fine, and I'm going to take another ta'ape up to join him on the kui with his friend. These little snappers make excellent fry fish, and you can't get too many of them, so go get them out there. And meanwhile, Jake swapped out his 3-prong for his gun.
Finally.
There we go, man. That's a nice fish.
Oh yeah.
I saw him go to the hole. I was like, if Jake doesn't get him, I'm going to get him.
Oh yeah.
Nice one.
Well, I was gonna shoot him at Pachi, and he just went right to where my gun was pointing.
Awesome.
Sick.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
These blacktail snapper are also invasive.
Yeah, that's the one. Nice work, dog. Yeah.
Yeah. Big Daddy.
Hog, yeah.
Stoked about that.
Nice shot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Weird one. Texas heart shot.
Exactly.
Now, this is when things start to change. I saw this big shadow come in. I knew immediately it was a big yellow spot papillo, so I threw my flasher to catch his interest, and I take the smoothest duck dive that I can and start flashing it. And he's a little wary, so I have to throw out a couple grunts, and that seems to catch his interest. And I'm really not feeling the shot for some reason, so I have to get really close. And I didn't put the best shot into him, but it was a good enough holding shot. I saw the flopper open, and it was a short dive for me, so I grab the line and I start heading hard for the surface. I'm not going to let him run at all. I'm feeling pretty good about that holding shot, and that's the fish I've been looking for today.
That's so crazy. I was like out there thinking, you know what would make my day? Yellow spot papillo pop.
Shut up, get your hand.
Huh?
Get me out.
Ah.
And Jake is absolutely right there, keeping me on point. What is this, amateur hour? Never celebrate until you have your fish in your hands. So I got to get back to work here, start hauling this guy up, put some pressure onto him, and make sure I have him on the cuy before I celebrate. I should know better. And now I know it's a really good holding shot. I can tell it's not going to come out. The flopper's open and everything, but still, strange things can happen. I have lost really nice fish, making silly mistakes before, so I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to get this guy up as quick as I can without letting him rip himself off. And luckily, everything's going really nice and smooth here. I can tell I got him. It's too late for him. And I got him in my hands now. You. A beautiful yellow spot papillo. I'm just going to brain him and bleed him to secure the quality. And pretty stoked about that.
I seriously. Hey, brother.
Good job.
Thank you. I seriously had that thought in my head. I was out there. I was like, I'm feeling it. And something in my head said, yellow spot papillo. I was like, okay. It just swam right up.
Did you throw your flasher?
I saw the black shot. I was like, what is that? Oh, yellow spot. No way.
And you threw.
And then I threw the flasher. Woo, there we go. He's got to be 5, 6.
Yeah, he's a big one. No shot back.
That makes my day.
All right,
Yeah.
we're good now.
There we go. Yeah. It's a rough one out here, man. Worth it.
And then we ended up getting pushed so far down the coast with this brutal current that we decided to start heading back. It's taking all of our efforts to drag this buoy and these fish. So we're going to use what little energy we have left to get back safely. I'm even going to flip on my back to carry this buoy because it's easier, and then Jake and I finally meet back up with each other. Then right as we're approaching our exit point, we run into this super cool sandy zone, and it's just a little over 50 feet here, but I threw my flasher because we saw these really big veke ulas from the surface, which are semi-rare goat fish. They're on the bigger side and they're really good eating, and while I don't need any more fish for the day, I would definitely grab one of these guys. It would make an excellent dinner. But I'm looking around and I think they took off. All I'm seeing is a bunch of really spooky murk. I think that's all I need for the day, so I'm going to call it. I'm going to unload my gun because we still got a lot of work and cooking to do, and we are out of here. .39, almost 5.4. Over 5 pounds, 2 weeks in a row. You. Look at that guy. Oh yeah. Yellow spot. It's been probably over a year since I shot one of these guys. Really interesting that I had that come in my head today when I was out there. Something said yellow spot. Really bizarre. And then it happened. Nice one too. Easy to fillet, clean meat, one of the best sashimi fish on the reef. I'll just make my slice behind the pec fin, angling towards the head, trace a line down the upper back, follow the frame down to the spine, cut all the pin bones, follow down the ribs, follow the frame down to the bottom of the fish, and remove that first fillet. Pretty easy stuff, just let the knife and the frame do the work. And don't forget to remove your collars. They're some of the best parts of the fish. You can do so much with them and they're amazing eating. Check that out. Right off the fish. It's a little chewy when it's that fresh, but it tastes good. And once I remove the skin from the fillet, I'm just going to cut the bloodline and the pin bones out of the middle, and then we're left with a top and bottom line, and those are your fillets. And the top loins like this one are the ones we're going to turn into sashimi blocks. All right, got that fish all chopped up. I have the collars and the sashimi blocks ready to go in the fridge for a couple days, and we're gonna take the trimmings and eat those tonight, but we're gonna save these for a different day, let them chill a little bit and let them soften up. So this is the site of our future build. It's coming up pretty soon. Hopefully in a few weeks we'll be starting here, and this is where we're gonna live while we build our main house eventually. All right, so the training advice I want to give today is whether it's in the gym or in the water, your numbers are not what make you good at all. They're a really great way to gauge progress and to set up programming and get an idea where you're at, but it has nothing to do with how good you are at those things. It's the intensity, the drive, the focus behind those things that makes you better. And your best is going to change from day to day. Only the mediocre are always at their best. All right, so because a lot of you have been talking about me not cooking rice, I'm gonna cook rice this time. It's kind of a pain. I have one burner, so I'm just gonna take my time with this. I have a little bag of sushi rice. And I'm gonna add a little bit more than equal parts brown sugar to that. Stick with me. So, brown sugar, maybe not all of that, most of it. Equal parts more or less, and we'll just add enough water to that. Give that a good mix, let that heat up to a boil. Get that top on. We'll let that sit. I gotta go grab the fish out of the fridge and we're gonna get going with this. Got a pretty good one today. Whew, it is a hot one out today, but actually most of the time it's easier to walk than it is to drive down there because the driveway is so rough, but pretty quick walk. Just go grab the fish and head back up there. All right, I got my fish. My sashimi blocks cut from the other day. It's been a few days now, let them cure up a little bit, and so nice to have a refrigerator again. Also really glad to have really light, breathable, stretchy, comfortable clothes. So these are Memjiks. If you want a pair, go check them out, memjik.com, and put in offer code no dictating, no pressure for 10% off. All right, back up here with my rice. It just started boiling, so I turned it down a little bit. So we're just gonna give that enough time to cook off, and when it gets all sticky and pasty, we'll shut that off and let it sit and go from there. All right, so I let that cook for, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes, something like that. And it's getting down there, mostly cooked off. So I'm gonna shut that down and I'm gonna let that cool for a little while and let it settle and harden up a bit before I can work it. Shut that propane off. I'll cover that and let that sit for a little while. So while I'm waiting for that to cool down, I actually just opened up my box and I got my new microphone and my light attachment. So let's get this hooked up. All right, how's that? Any better? Can you hear me better? Can you see me better? I don't know. We're gonna give it a shot more in the future, but I just want to try it out right now, maybe for the rest of this episode. But feeling pretty good about my upgraded sound and lighting. It's been a long time coming, so thank you guys for being patient. All right, so this is taking forever to cool down. It's still hot. but I'm ready to get rolling. So I have saran wrap on the cutting board to keep it clean. And I'm just gonna start rolling little like sticky rice logs, something like that. I don't know, I'm making this up as I go. Okay, I'm gonna wet my fingers. I'm just gonna pack these into little logs. Like that. Lay them out. I know from rolling sushi that you gotta keep your fingers wet so it doesn't stick as much. Little sticky rice logs. All right, so there's a dozen of them. That should be good for now. We have plenty more rice. I just want to give this a go before I make any mistakes. We'll start there. So now I'm gonna reheat that pan right now, and I'm gonna add a lot of butter to it. I haven't used butter in a while. It's actually the first butter I've had since we moved out in the tent. So I'm gonna use a big old fat slab. What you know about that? That's just a little bit of the sugar that dripped out of the tray in there. So a little bit of brown sugar rice and a lot of butter. And then we're gonna fry these guys in that butter. We'll go from there. Got an idea. Okay, so we got that butter heating up. Just about ready. So before we add those in there, I'm gonna add some salt and pepper mix. I like the ratio of this. And then I'm gonna add a grip of wasabi powder. And see how that goes. Smells really good, really interesting, but very good. Okay, so let's get these guys frying. So now while those are frying, I'm gonna cut up this sashimi block. Just gonna start by trimming all the edges off. We'll use those for cooking later for something else. Because we only want the sashimi parts. So now we're gonna cut this, since the grain is running this way, we're gonna cut it against the grain this way. We're gonna do these super thin. And I'm just gonna put them on a plate. All right, and because I know that's not gonna be enough, I'm gonna do the rest of it. I'll do this other slab here too. All right, it doesn't have to be pretty because we're just gonna use all that, but that's all pile. We have this pile right here that we can use later for other cooking. This is all really good, I just don't want to sashimi it. Yeah, crispy on the outside, soft in the middle. Yeah, slightly burnt is okay. It's mostly sugar. Yeah, they're caramelized. They're not as burnt as they look. They're actually really soft. So some of these are starting to get pretty caramelized and firmed up, so we're gonna start pulling some of them. Just put them in the bowl for now. So some of them held together better than others, but I think once they cool down, they're gonna settle and harden up a little bit. So we'll let those settle, and I gotta come up with a different game plan, but I think I got it figured out. Okay, so I managed to save the best pieces of that. Got those cool down a bit, and now we can just cover them in this yellow spot sashimi. So we're just gonna layer these on there. Now, all we have to do is cover them in a little bit of shoyu. Bang. Little extra, just in case we need it on the bottom. Bam! Oh yeah, check that out. So I don't know, kind of an idea that I had when I was just chilling on the couch the other day, right? I was like, I don't know what I want to make with this. Sashimi's boring. Anyway, hopefully this is worth it. Let's give this a go. Okay. That rice is like crispy on the outside and chewy in the middle. It's sweet and salty, has a little bit of pepper to it. It's cooked in butter. It's got that yellow spot, which is just so good. It's fatty. Oh, that's amazing. So, if you guys don't know, yellow spot papillo is very different than omilu, even though they're in the same family. You do have to let yellow spot age for at least 2 or 3 days. It's been about 3 days. It softens up quite a bit, and it has a similar texture to uku. I wouldn't say they're very comparable as far as taste goes, but I would say they're in the same quality category. So uku, kamanu, yellow spot papillo, they're probably all about at the same level, just very different from each other. So this is really good. Oh wow. Well, Megan's not feeling super good. She's in her comfy clothes, but she's right here. She's gonna get to try one. Yeah? She approves. If she approves of raw fish and rice, we're in business. Yeah, kind of worth it, huh? It was a lot of work. This is actually quite a bit, but I'm glad I did it.
Me too.
Yeah. We have a lot more too that I made as extra. I wasn't sure how much we'd eat, but we're gonna eat a lot. But yeah, as far as our life update goes, we're making some progress. We have the concrete slab poured, and I'll be building the gym hopefully in the next week or so, and then we'll start building our perfunctory house, a unit that we can live in and we get us out of this tent finally. This will be the first episode that the cats are not in the episode. Yeah, you been a bad kitty? I still love you. Yeah, we have mixed feelings, don't we? But they are banished from the tent. We don't need to get into all the details, but they blew their second chance. They're not allowed in the tent anymore. They're really misbehaving, and they've never misbehaved before. So we're gonna let them be outdoor cats until we move into the new house. That's just the way it is. It's unfortunate. They're not making our lives easier right now.
No. You always do that with like, he's like, I don't know about this recipe. I'm not sure if it's gonna be good, and then it's amazing every single time.
Because I'm making this stuff up as I go. I don't really have a game plan. I don't know what I'm doing out here. I don't have a really great kitchen, obviously, but we're making it fun. It's starting to get fun again. We're kind of embracing this struggle. You know, it's been very challenging, but for a while there it was frustrating. But we're just learning to let go, embrace it, and this is just where we're at right now. So we're back to having a really good time. It's really fun. We love it out here. You guys make this really fun for us. You know, it's really nice to be so supported in so many ways. So, you know, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all of you, and we will catch you real soon.